Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing well. And this is just going to be a short chit chat of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 2, Episodes 2 through 6. So, first of all, we're going to talk about Kenneth and Armando. So, this is just a recap of all the episodes 2 through 6, I think, or 1 through 6. I watched them all last night. So, Kenneth and Armando. Every time I see every time, both of them actually, I cry the most during their segment. Their segment is so heartwarming and emotional and gut-wrenching. So, Kenneth says goodbye to his children, his triplet daughters and his son. And the scene where he's saying goodbye to everybody, man, everybody was crying. I was crying. I think Kenneth just really has a good heart. And I really want the best for him. I really, really want the best for him. And I'm not that emotionally invested in these people because half the time I'm thinking that this is, highly produced, highly edited, highly acted. But for some reason with Kenneth, the tears to me just seem so real, and he's such a good dad. He loves his children so much, and his children love him so much. And it's just so beautiful to see a gay man also being a family man, which we know there are, homosexual couples, homosexual singles who are parents and they do have children, but you don't see that a lot on TV. So to see the parental side of him, the father side of him, and how he interacts with his children is just so beautiful. And his children love him so much. And he loves his children so much. And he sacrificed so much to raise his children. And he did a great job in raising his kids, because as far as I can see on the show, his kids seem so well-rounded. And he did an awesome job in raising those kids. They love him so much. And his grandbaby too. So Kenneth packs up everything and he's going to drive to Mexico. And as he's driving cross country or wherever he's coming from to Mexico, we're seeing the scenery of his road trip, and he takes his little dog with him, his little long-haired chihuahua with him. I think his name is Truffles. And we see Texas, and we see different I just loved Kenneth's segment from beginning to end. I enjoyed the clips that they put in of his road trip. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And Texas is a really big state, and it does take a very long time to get out of Texas. By the time you go from one end of Texas to the other, you could have driven probably through 3 or 4 states, somewhere else in the country. So on Armando's end, this is also very emotional for me. On Armando's end, when he tells his parents, that this is who he is, he's gay, and that he had to hide it for so long because he was trying to protect his parents. He thought more of his parents and his family than he did of himself. And he wants his parents to understand, I sacrificed myself. I hid myself for so long just to make you happy, because he loves his parents. He cares about his parents. And so he had to go through a lot of inner turmoil and pain just to kind of keep everything copacetic for his family. And now it's time for him to live his life and to live his truth and to do what he wants to do. And he needs, just like the way he respected his parents enough to hide himself, they need to respect him enough now to accept who he is and to still love him. So the conversation he had with his mom and dad at the table was very emotional. His mom crying broke my heart. Him crying broke my heart. You can tell his dad probably had a very, very heavy heart. And the most beautiful thing was when his mom said, "You're my son, of course I love you." And she walks around the table and she gives him a hug. And of course they love their son. Of course they love their son. And I just hope that they will be able to know and understand that He's still the same Armando. He's still the same boy they raised. Nothing has changed. Now he has a partner who loves him as much as his parents do. And that's all you can hope for as a parent, is that the partner that your children choose, that they will love them and care for them as much as you do. Because you've done so much in raising these children that when you give them to the world, you want the world to love them back, to love them and accept them as much as you do. So hopefully his parents will know and understand that Kenneth loves Armando, wants the best for Armando, is there to take care of Armando, and that they're leaving him in good hands. And I just really, really hope that they can understand that Armando is still Armando. Nothing has changed. He's still the beautiful, wonderful boy that you raised into this beautiful, wonderful man. And so I just really hope that everything works out. Now, one thing I have to give the parents credit for is that they are trying. They're definitely trying. They haven't disowned him, kicked him out, shunned him, cussed him out, or anything like that, turned their backs on him. They are trying. And we cannot expect people who are, who so deeply believe in one way to just overnight change and to believe another way. So they are definitely trying. And so I am definitely giving them credit for that. They are really, really trying. So Armando has a little girl, and the sweetest little girl, and the little girl is excited about Kenneth coming to live with them in Mexico. She's very excited. She's excited that she's going to have two daddies. That was nice to see that he's already prepared his daughter for the new chapter in their life, and the daughter is happy. She's excited about it. She seems like a very loving, sweet child. I know Kenneth will be an awesome stepdad or bonus dad, or however you want to put it. He's going to be an awesome dad to that little girl, because he did such a great job with his own kids. So that little girl is in good hands. She has two men, two daddies who are going to love her, protect her, take care of her. I am not worried about that relationship at all. I wish them nothing but the best. Nothing but the absolute best. I love Kenneth and Armando. Love Kenneth and Armando. Okay, so Ariella and Binion. No, let's go to Devin and Jehoon. Okay. Let's go to Devin and Jehoon. 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 This is difficult. This is hard. But this is what happens when you kind of rush into things. Do I agree with Devin moving to South Korea to start a new life over there with Jehoon? Okay. This is what I have to say about that. Devin understands what kind of man she is with. He's not very motivated. He's not responsible. I'm pretty much getting the impression that Jehoon is extremely spoiled by his parents. I don't know. It seems like he's an only child, and only children, I can attest to that. I am an only child. Yes, I feel like, and I do believe that we tend to be a little bit more spoiled than children who have siblings. It seems like Jehoon is very spoiled by his parents, that they have not equipped him with the tools that he needs to be a responsible family man. That's where I'm going with this. Now, saying that, so Jehoon is just not prepared. He's just not ready. And Devin trying to turn him into this responsible, motivated, go-getting kind of husband, I don't think it's going to happen that quickly, Devin. So either you take the bull by the horn and take care of things yourself if you want to be with this man, and hopefully he will catch up to you, or you leave him be and you go back to Utah and y'all try to figure it out long distance. As far as the parenting, y'all try to figure this out long distance, because you getting upset and stressed out because he hasn't done A, B, C, D, and you have to pick up the slack for him, you're getting upset for nothing, Devin. You're stressing yourself out for nothing. You have 2 little children who are depending on you, and you cannot be this stressed out, this overworked about this guy. You kind of you had an idea from the get-go what kind of person he was. I'm not saying that this is an excuse for Jehoon to be the way he is and to just, stay this way. I'm not saying that at all. He does need to step up. Yes, he needs to step up. Okay, he needs to change his ways. But Devin, how are you going to change something that has been in place for 20-something, 30-something years? And it's not going to change overnight. Yeah, maybe he is on the road to recovery. He is on the road to manhood. But it's not going to happen Tuesday. It's not going to happen Wednesday. So be patient. Either if you're going to stick with him, you're going to live in Korea, you need to be patient. You need to make sure those kids are taken care of. Yes, you need to do what you got to do to turn this boy into a man. But girl, don't stress out over it. You know what you were getting yourself into. It's not like you thought you were getting Mr. Responsible and now someone flipped the script on you and you got Mr. Irresponsible. You knew exactly what you were getting into. So you got to make it work. And Devin, your mom, I forgot her name, but her name is Alicia. Yeah, Alicia. Alicia, what in the world is wrong with you? How do you not have a filter? How do you think it's okay to act like this in public around other people? What's wrong with you, Alicia? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Unacceptable. 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 Absolutely unacceptable. No, ma'am. You can't act like that. No. You need a filter. Excuse me. You need a filter. You need some manners. No. As soon as she got to Korea, she was dropping F-bombs like there was no tomorrow. Very disrespectful to herself, to her daughter, to her grandkids, to Jehoon and his family. I could not believe what I was watching. Like, how do you act like that? How do you not know how to act? This whole idea of I'm going to do what I want and say what I want and I really don't care. No, ma'am. That's not civilization. That's not living in a civilized world. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. No, ma'am. It was cringy. It was absolutely cringy to sit there and watch how this woman was acting. It was so cringy. And I'm not going to say it's, the rude American. No, it is the rude Alicia. It's got nothing to do with her being an American because Devin is an American. A lot of these other people on the show are Americans visiting other countries, and no one is acting like this. No, I was so embarrassed for everybody. Yes, the conditions are bad. Yes, she picked, that's something else that I wanted to say. Devin was kind of like acting like, oh, I was able to get a rental for a month, so why couldn't you, Jehoon? Why couldn't you get us an apartment? I was able to do it. Well, look what you got. Look what you got. You got something really bad. You got something horrible. Because if it was that easy to get, that should have been a red flag. If that place was that easy for you to get, and you're sitting here trying to figure out why Jehoon couldn't get an apartment for y'all, maybe this is the reason why. Maybe Jehoon does not want to get something in the slums. This was a bad area. Even his parents, Jehoon's parents, were like, "This is not good. This is not good at all." And it was so easy to get, Devin, because this is what it was. This is what it was. That's why it was so easy to get. So kind of pump the brakes on patting yourself on the back about, oh, I got us a rental. Why couldn't you do the same? Maybe better places are harder to get that require more money. But anyways, moving on. So she arrives in Korea with her mom and her kids. As soon as they landed at the airport, the whole scene was just cringeworthy for me. It was really cringy. The rudeness from Devin's mother, the tension between everybody, the narrow streets made me feel so claustrophobic. I was like, wow, are these even streets? I mean, the streets were so narrow that you felt like the car or the van that they were in was going to scrape the buildings that were on either side of the street. I mean, that's how narrow the street was. It was so narrow. I felt a lot of tension whenever Jehoon and Devin would conversate. I felt a lot of tension there. Obviously, she's really upset with him. Oh man, I don't think she's gonna stay. I really don't see her living in South Korea. I don't see her living there at all. I think she's gonna pack up and go back to Utah. But then again, I wish Jehoon would just, you understand what kind of woman you're dealing with, Jehoon. You're dealing with a woman who's expecting you to step up to the plate, and you need to do an entire makeover of who you are, or who you think you are. You need to do a complete makeover. And Jehoon, you need to step up. You need to step up. You chose to be with a woman who already had a child. You got her pregnant. Y'all have 2 babies now to look after. Jehoon, you need to step up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the employment conditions are in South Korea. I don't know if it's just a lack of motivation or lack of good jobs. I don't know what's happening over there. But Jehoon, you need to step up. You know what kind of woman you are dealing with. And if you love her and you care for her and you want to make this family work, you need to step the hell up. That's all I got to say to Jehoon. And Alicia, please censor yourself. Okay, Jenny and Summit. Jenny and Summit. Jenny arrives in India to start her new life with Summit. Before she left India, her daughters wanted to make sure that she saw the divorce papers, because they don't want their mother moving to India with a man who is still married to another woman, because then they cannot get married. And there's so much with Jenny and Summit that kind of requires, I feel like, its own video. I don't know. Okay, so when Jenny went to India the first time, first of all, Summit, we all know Summit catfished her, and she still decided to, when they met online, he completely catfished her, and she still decided to go through with it, which is so weird to me that she would continue to date someone who lied about who he was. Right there, red flag number 1. So she decides to put the whole catfish thing away and, give him a chance, and she ends up falling in love with him, and she likes him for who he is, which is beautiful, okay, so she was catfished, but she still accepted him for who he was. In a way, that's points for Jenny, but still this guy lied to you about who he was. That should have been an indication of what was ahead. So she goes to India for the first time to go visit him, finds out that he's married to someone else. He tells her that it was an arranged marriage, that he's not happy, and that he wants to leave his wife. So against obviously what his family wants, he decides to stay with Jenny. He wants to be with Jenny. Now, he also is going to get a divorce from his wife so that he can be with Jenny and marry Jenny. Now, the situation is that he tells her that he's filed for divorce. The divorce is costing him $20,000 or something. I'm not sure. Well, the divorce is costing him $20,000. So when Jenny returns to America, she says to him, look, I want to come back to India with you, but you need to take care of your divorce. You have to make sure this divorce is final. I don't know what Summit is doing. Obviously, we don't know the ins and outs of the legal system of India. So I really don't want to blast him and accuse him of lying and leading her on, because he hasn't produced any paperwork at all that this divorce has been filed. Because he tells her, look, the legal system here in India is very, it's complicated. I can't just go to the courthouse and get a copy of the pleading or the motion or the decree or whatever. I can't just do that. So things here are a little bit more difficult. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really want to give Summit the benefit of the doubt. So we're going to leave that where it's at with the divorce situation. I don't want to say he's lying about that or anything, because I don't know. Now, the other situation about Jenny is that I think it's sort of silly of her to leave her life behind to go to India with a man who has lied to her multiple times and who can't even prove to her that he has filed for divorce. But she will leave everything behind. It's just so silly to me. It seems so silly. She quits her job. She does whatever she does. She empties out her 401k with her trips back and forth to India and the expenses of day-to-day living in India when she was living in India the first time. Depletes her 401k, her retirement savings. Now she's hoping that her Social Security will kick in so that she can survive in India. This just seems so silly to me. I don't understand why at this stage of her life, Jenny wants to go through this type of complication. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't understand why. Because this is the time of her life where she should be looking forward to retirement and taking it easy and enjoying the fruits of her labor, working all her life. Now, you get to kind of, I don't know, she's not quite at that full retirement age where she can collect fully on her Social Security, because advisor, whoever that she went to go talk to, had told her that, if you do retire at 62, I think she's 61 now, you're going to lose 30% of your Social Security. So she's not at that time yet where she can get 100% of her Social Security. But if you have the energy to be going back and forth to India and to be dealing with this guy, then you have the energy to kind of work a little bit longer to build up your Social Security, to put more into your it seems like she's gonna completely waste everything she worked for in her life for this guy who can't even promise her or prove to her that he's even ready to take care of her, to be her husband. I don't understand why people do these things. I don't get it. Why she would put all of her eggs in Sumit's basket, and Sumit barely has a basket to hold these eggs with. I just don't understand. But we'll see how that goes. So she arrives in India. He's got an apartment. He got a home for her, which is good. And it's an abandoned home. He kept on calling it an abandoned home, which to me, I'm not understanding what that means. So the people abandoned the home and now you can live there rent free? Because if it's owned by someone that you have to pay rent to, that's not an abandoned home. That's not an abandoned home. But he kept on calling it an abandoned home. So I don't know what's going on there. I thought the home was very spacious. It does need a little bit of work, but it was extremely spacious, very comfortable. But it does need work. So I don't know about the electricity and the water and all of that. Sumit told Jenny that the neighborhood is really bad, that there's killings in the neighborhood. People kill people for $10. So it's a dangerous neighborhood. And Jenny had mentioned that in their previous place where they were staying at, they had a security guard. But because this place is so far out of the city and it's an abandoned home, the only security they have is the gates. So that's very, very scary. So good luck with that, Jenny. I hope this was all worth it for you. I really do. I really do hope that this was worth it for you. Ariella and Biniam, who they call Baby. So Ariella is the American woman. I forget what state she's from. I think it's somewhere up north. On one of her excursions, one of her world adventures, she was in Ethiopia. She met this guy named Biniam. They hit it off. Everything was wonderful. Everything was great. She ends up getting pregnant. She comes back to America, and now she's planning to move to Ethiopia. She's pregnant now. I don't know how far along she is. She looks about 6 or 7 months pregnant. And she plans to have her baby in Ethiopia. And it's important for her to have her baby in Ethiopia because she wants the father to be there for the birth. Of course, against her better judgment, she's deciding to do this. Everyone is telling her it's not a good idea. Have your baby here where the medical care is probably a little bit better, and then move to Ethiopia. She's headstrong. She's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I really want the father to be a part of the birthing process. People have babies in Ethiopia every day. So maybe the infant mortality rate is higher than America. And she said the reason why it is higher is because most women in Ethiopia don't have babies at the hospital. They have their children at home. So that's why the infant mortality rate is higher. But I guess the infant mortality rate is not that high for women who give birth at the hospital in Ethiopia. And also, this is a major city. I think this is the capital of Ethiopia that she's moving to. I think it's is it Addis Ababa? I think so. It's the capital of Ethiopia. It's a major city. I'm pretty sure that she'll be fine having her baby there. People have babies in Ethiopia all the time. They turn out fine. Everything will be fine. So I'm not that concerned about that. What kind of bothered me was when she arrived in Ethiopia, and she arrives in Ethiopia with her mom. Her mom came with her to make sure that everything was going to be okay with the birth, with the labor and the delivery. And when she arrives there, Biniam is waiting for her, gives her roses or flowers. It's a nice reunion, lots of hugs and kisses. It seems like the mother and Biniam, started off good. They had a good start. It wasn't like Alicia and Jehun and his family. She seems like her mother seems like a very gracious woman. And then she said that, so when they had met initially, he had long dreads, but he cut his hair. So that was a shocker for her that he had cut off his long dreads. So she was saying that he looked so different and he looked so skinny. I don't know what she meant by that, because the pictures of him before with his long dreads, to me, he still looked the same minus the hair. He still looks very muscular. Didn't understand why she said that. But it seemed like she probably she doesn't have the same attraction for him, because she said it was like meeting a completely different person for the first time. She kept saying that. She's like, oh my God, it's like meeting a completely different person. I don't know why she said that. So that was a little bit concerning. Like, is she kind of not attracted to him, not having the same feelings for him anymore? I don't know. So then he takes her to the home that they're going to be staying at. And she didn't like it. She didn't like it at all. She talked about the colors were too dark. And I'm like, what? Girl, and this home, to me, was better than a lot of homes that I see on this show when the American goes to the other country. I think it had a shower, an actual shower. She didn't have to use a bucket. I think it had a toilet. It did have a toilet. I'm not understanding what she was expecting. I mean, you expected everything to be pink and blue. What do you mean the colors are too dark? What was she expecting? To me, the home looked fine. You have a roof over your head. You have running water. You have what more did you want? What more did you want? Compared to, let's say, when Ed went to the Philippines and he had to shower with a bucket and the bedroom leaked. The house was leaking. It was a tin roof and it leaked when it rained. Girl, what is the problem? That kind of upset me, because who cares about the colors? Who cares about the decor? You have a roof, you have running water, you have electricity, you're good to go. Okay, just be gracious. Be great. You can't expect things to be like they are in America. That's the thing that I don't understand. So like with Ed and with Ariella and with some of these other people on this show, when they go to these foreign countries, they're so critical of, oh my God, you don't have a toilet. Oh my God, you don't have a shower head. Oh my God, you don't have this, you don't have that. Just because things are not like they are in America doesn't mean that they're less than, doesn't mean that they're wrong, doesn't mean that there's something wrong here. It's just different. It's just different. As long as you get clean, it doesn't matter if you have to use a bucket or a bathtub or a shower or a lake, as long as you're clean. It's just different. And you have to, it just bothers the heck out of me when they go to these places and I'm like, oh my God, the bed is too hard. Oh my God. It's like, what? Get out of here. Get out of here. So that's Ariella and Baby. Then we go to Brittany and Yazin. Okay, so Brittany and Yazin. Brit. One thing that boggles my mind is the people who date people who are of the Islamic faith or Muslim faith. Are so disrespectful to that religion and to that culture. It blows my mind. It completely blows my mind because there, I don't even know how to say this without, let me collect my thoughts. You're going to his country. You're entering his culture. How dare you be so defiant of the rules and regulations of his culture and his religion? You know what's acceptable and what's not. You know you can't show up. The first time she went there, Yazin said that she showed up in a really short skirt and a top with a sleeveless top or spaghetti straps or whatever. And how do you not know how to dress when you go to a Muslim country? How do you not know this? The other couple on 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way, I think it was season 1. I forget their names, but it was the girl, the American girl, and she was really, really engrossed in the Muslim culture. So before she even visited the country or went to that country, which I think was it Syria? I think he lived in. She gained a lot of knowledge about that culture. Now, she took it a step further. She actually converted to that culture. She actually converted to Islam. Now, I don't think you have to go that far at all. I just think you have to be respectful. Now, going into another country, that you cannot go there in a short mini skirt and a sleeveless top. You know this. You know this. I've never been to a Muslim country, and I know this. Like, how dare you? So her second time there, which is what they're filming now, she is a little bit more respectful. You know, she's completely covered up. But when she arrives at the airport, at some point, he gets upset with her because when she hugged someone from the cast, someone from the crew, the production crew, she gave them a hug, and Yazin also saw that Brittany had brought an alcoholic beverage. She had a bottle of tequila, and he exploded. He went completely off. I was like, what in God's name is going on here? He was cussing. He was yelling and screaming. He was throwing his hands up in the air. He was like, F Brittany, F this, F me, F everybody, because she hugged a crew member, and she brought a bottle and alcohol is forbidden in his country, or in his religion is completely forbidden. So I understand, Yazin, that you were upset. I get it. You were angry with Brit. But, I mean, just the lack of control that he expressed was just like, what? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No. No. That was just unacceptable. His outburst was, and I understand that his anger was at a boiling point, that he had exceeded the limit. He was pissed off. I get it. But I think it was just a little bit uncalled for. His reaction was just, he could have just said, you know what, Brittany, this is not acceptable. I don't like you coming to my country with, alcohol. That's against my religion. That's not acceptable here. And, I don't feel comfortable with you hugging, another man right in front of me. Have a conversation with her. Talk to her. But that outburst was just so now so he explodes. He's cussing everybody out. They get in the car, they're driving to the hotel, and she's now you got her feeling some kind of way with your outburst. So now she's completely shut down. Now you're trying to talk to her and you're like, "Are you mad? What's wrong? Are you crying?" And you're touching her face. No. She of course she's mad. You need to lay your hands off before you find yourself with a black eye. You need to don't touch her. You know she's upset. Now you got her so riled up, and now you're wondering why she's, sitting in the corner, sulking, not talking to you. Now you got her so extremely riled up, and I try to have a conversation with her now? Nah, it don't work like that. Now, Brittany, you did the most. You did the most. Girl, I know you know that you cannot come into this Muslim country with a bottle of tequila. I know you know this. I know you know this. And okay, with her hugging the crew member, I don't know what the story is behind that. I don't know why he would have gotten so upset about that. If it's a cultural thing, talk to her, teach her, explain to her, and let her make the decision if she wants to, change or not. Talk to her, let her know. You know what, Brittany, when you hugged that other person, it made me feel uncomfortable. I felt very disrespected, or whatever the feelings were. Have a conversation with her. Why are you exploding like a 2-year-old? Why are you acting like this? Now, Brittany did better. She was dressed more appropriately. The alcohol part, let's give her the benefit of the doubt that maybe she didn't know. So if it's something that's upsetting you about what your partner is doing, have a conversation with them. Say, Brittany, you can't come here with alcohol. Is it a cultural thing? Is it a religious thing? Is it a Yazan thing? Maybe Yazan himself just doesn't like women who drink. Maybe that's just his preference. I don't know. She doesn't know. So let her know. Don't just start exploding like this. Now, that's a red flag, Brittany, sweetheart. That's a red flag for you. Okay? You need to, keep your eyes open, because a man at this age who acts like that when something displeases him, this is probably his way. And he's probably not going to change that. So, Brittany, take heed. Yazan, okay, your girl did the most with the tequila, but have a conversation with her. Maybe she just didn't know. Give her the benefit of the doubt. And something else as well, with Brittany talking about how, well, I'm not gonna convert to Islam and I'm still an American and no, sweetheart, you don't have to convert to Islam, but you need to show respect. You're going to their country. You need to adapt to their way of life. You can't be there with all of this, oh, but I'm an American and I have my ways and I'm gonna do this no. You're going into his world. Just like if he came to America, you would not expect him you would not convert to him if he came to America. You would expect him to convert to your way of living, your way of life. If you drink wine with dinner, he needs to accept that, if that's what we do here in America. So you're going over there, show some respect to that. Don't go there with this attitude of, oh, I'm not going to change and I'm not this and I'm not that. You need to show respect. Okay? And he needs to teach you. He needs to teach you the ways of his country, the ways of his world. And just show some respect. And y'all need to have conversation. That's all I have to say. This has gone on way too long. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. It's all good. Still have love for you. And we'll meet again. Bye.